Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone tonight? I want to thank you so much for hopping over here to Making Memories with Melody and checking out my mixed media tonight. I have a couple different projects that I'm looking forward to working on. I thought it would make sense if I did this where I would work on one and then while it's drying a bit, do a different technique on another. And so that's where I was leaning towards. This book cover has had several techniques done to it. Let me show you. So far I have gessoed it, which would make it look like this. Then I texturized it with a stencil, which looks like this. And then I gessoed over the stencil. The modeling paste with the stencil image there. So then on this teal one, I actually went ahead and painted it a base color because I needed to get it to hi Lisa, I needed to get it to a color that's going to work with a project that this color will work with, and then a few of these others that I've got here. So now I've got to try to figure out what's the best way to get the color on there and make it look the way I see it in my mind, which I think happens to a lot of us, right? We start out a project and it's not that we know exactly what we're doing all the time, it's that we just want it to make it look like we see it in our mind. And this particular Stamperius scrapbooking paper pack is what I'm leaning my design from on. So this is kind of a tealy blue, so I put that in the background because I don't necessarily want it to be in the forefront. So, but the rest of it is a very blue, dusty blue, where the blues are. And so I got out some blues that I think will work with that. So, let's see. And if it doesn't work, worst case scenario, I don't use this book cover for that project. I use it for a different project. So, but what I was thinking about was possibly sponging these on here in a just a flattering way. Maybe it's been a while since I've sponge painted. I used to do it quite a bit when I worked with Michaels, and so it's gonna be interesting to get back to that a little bit. So let me find something to squirt some paint on, some old book pages. There we go. And I'm thinking I'm going to go down with the darker, which I have this Heavy Fog by Anita's all-purpose acrylic. Let me shake it up. And I got this at Hobby Lobby on sale, so I was excited to get a good buy on a product that I think from so far is working a really good product. So I just need to get kind of a base down on top of this. Boy, that, I don't know if you can tell, but from here this looks blue and over here it looks purple. So that's good to know. So then cross hatch it a bit to get those lines out of there. So I'm just putting it on with the sponge, but it's not really going on any different than much different than if I had done a hi Tidbits, hi Lynn. Not going on much different than if I'd use a paintbrush, except for if maybe it's not getting down into the crevices quite as much, which is good. Although it's not going to matter that much because I'll be using metallic Inca Gold mousses over the top. So, but I do need to get this teal toned it down because that wasn't the color that I wanted it. So I've got to layer up from there and get that. And I do somewhere have a like a sea sponge that would give me a better blotchy coverage. But like I said, this isn't the top, this is the underneath, so I can just, hi Blossom. Alrighty, so let's see what I can do here. But yeah, it's amazing how much that color changed on top of there. So I'm not going to put much more of that one because I'm not really that thrilled with how it looks on there. On here, I really like it. On here, I'm not sure what I think. Not that it looks terrible, I'm not sure that it's doing what I wanted it to do. Okay, so we'll get down in there a little bit. Okay, so now let's fold this over a bit. And maybe some of these will stay blue for us. This is a blue jay. This is medium blue. This is blue bonnet. This one might be a little bit, this coastal blue, a little bit tealer. And this one I was going to go towards the top. So let's try the medium blue. Hi Sharon. Hi Mary Scraps. And, ooh. Let's see. That doesn't look that much different than the other one, does it? Well, maybe it does. Yeah, I guess it does. Lighter. Lighter, lighter. So let's, well, there it is. Now everything on top of this teal turns to a bit of a purpley tint. That is going to be something I'm going to have to remember for future reference. So, let's see. Let's get some smears in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to use this sponge anymore. It's almost like it's taking it right back off as I put it on. I think it's just not doing what I was hoping it would do. That's okay. That is okay. I'll just set that right there. And there's a lot of times when I can just make a dry brush work. I've been practicing with that a bit with the metallics on the jelly plate. Definitely keeps me from getting too blotchy, which I definitely don't want to do. Okay, so now next color scheme, or next color in the theme, I think will be this blue jay, and I don't know. You know, I don't have a clue what it's going to end up until we get it on there. It looks light, like the other one did. But none of them look that light on here. That's okay. Live and learn. There we go. That might help a bit. There we go. Some of this now the green teal looked really green. There we go. I just always end up putting out too much paint. That's one of my big problems, is I can't correctly judge how much paint I'll be using. Now, I don't know if you guys can see a little bit better now, those, the stenciling of the, it's measuring, like, let's see, it's over here, it's like this. It's the bottom part of this stencil. So, it has the bigger, and then the doubles, sideways and longways, and so, a variety of them. Measuring tapes. I always have to be really careful, and I want to warn you, if you're doing this, that I will dig my fingernails in there and make dents. So if you're doing this, be careful with your fingernails. Okay, so I'm going to fold this one in half, and I'm going to try this light one and see what I can get going with that. Hopefully this is light enough to make a difference. That definitely is lighter. There we go. I wonder if I could get that off there just a bit. Just went a little bit too heavy with it right there. We're starting to, from here, get a nice variegated areas, or multi-faceted, some depth. I definitely messed up right there, and I'll have to probably redo that area. This blue was definitely the blue to come up on top with. Just got to get a lighter hand with it. Tell you, when it grabs, it grabs. There we go. Alright, so this area right here is still not what I would like it to be. Sometimes things just don't go as you had planned, but that doesn't mean that you can't continue to make it better, or just shift it in another direction if you have to. You know, if it just isn't gonna get back to looking the way you want it to. Now that doesn't look as blotchy in person now. If that's the front, which it's not, this is the back. So I think we might be okay. The front here is going to have objects on the front. So I'll still be okay. If I get anything that just isn't quite perfect. But if I was to say, does that have the color and depth that I was looking for? It does. And then I can wait till this is completely dry and then go over it in a wash if I want to bring out more detail, and then work with the metals on top of this. So there's that for what I was going to do with that. And then I'll put this in some water, get rid of these, and then what I have is another project. Let's see if I can get the camera. Oh, the camera's decided that it's loose. Oop. Now I won't be able to tell for a minute. Let's see how that works. So what I was planning on doing was taking the alcohol inks and pouring them down on this and seeing what I could get out of it. And then I was going to use alcohol blending solution and sprays to move the alcohol around. That one's a I got more coming in the mail, even if I use the rest of this tonight. I have more coming. Another order on its way. I was going to keep this white out in case I needed it. Yellow might be helpful. Who knows? Oh, goodness. Never can find what you're looking for when you're looking for it, can you? So this is what I keep wanting to grab, but this is Glossy Accents, and that is definitely not what I want to add to my project. So I'm wondering if maybe that was my last bottle of mixing blending solution, because I'm not. Sorry about the noise. Okay, well, I am not seeing another one, so I'm just going to have to blend with other inks. Okay, I can make it work. I can make it work. Now, what I was thinking about doing was, oh my goodness, you guys, you're all doing such fun things. Oh, awesome. I was thinking about picking maybe three color families. So greens, blues, and let's add some purple. And blending them across this. So if the yellow would work, but green might be better. I won't need the pink. And I think I have a lighter blue in here, but this is the closest I think I have. Okay. Okay, so what I do is I do this on top of photo paper so that I soak up the ink on top of there, and then it keeps me from wasting it, because I can cut tags out of these. So I'm going to go ahead and start this by pouring, because I'll put green on this side, purple on this side, so I'm going to do blue in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over because I have the green side up. And start on some blues. A really good blue. This is Pinata. That's the Jacquard alcohol ink, and it's Baja blue. And if I pour this right down the middle, we'll see what we get. Hi, Diane. Hi, Linda. Hi, Angelique. So let's see. We'll just start pouring this down. And it would have been better if I would have had my blending solution, but I don't. So I'm just going to work with what I've got, because that's what we got to do sometimes, right? Also would have been awesome if I would have turned on a fan. Okay, so now let's do a greener blue right here. Let's see what we end up with. There we go, right down the side. Now let's do one more. This is Pond, or Pool, sorry. And I know I've used this for patina color in some of my projects. And we'll go across here with that. That one is very similar to the other one, isn't it? Okay, so then we'll just head over into the greens. So on this one was Stream, Pool, and the Baja blue. Put those away, turn this over, grab our greens. Now I'm not drying this in between because I want to have the combination. I think, oh boy, so far the one that grabs me is the Clover, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the right green until I'm already done and I say, oh, that wasn't the right green. But let's try it out. Oh, I think that'll be okay. Now let's try the green spray bit. There we go. There we go. Right. So now let's go ahead and take this green all the way around, and we'll do the green on the back cover here, half for sure, half of the cover, or I'm sorry, not cover, spine. There we go. Oops, it's starting to pour the wrong direction. And then I could go to rainforest green, because I don't know that I want to go. I mean, there is a bottle green. Might take us right back to the blues. That might be a fun way to do this too. Let me see if I can mop up some of the ink. I don't know if you can see it starting to pull up there. Let me try this one. This one is definitely a bit darker, but once we spray this green in there, it almost turns to a yellowy color that I wasn't looking for. So let's put the lid back on this one. Lid back on this one, and this was the clover. So let's go ahead and do the forest Baja, or the Jacquard Pinata color rainforest green. See if we can get a better green there. Oh goodness, I need to get to using my inks more. Okay, so let me try this. I needed good tilt, so that's why I tilt it. Ooh, goodness, look at that. I'm going to use this blue because I don't want that yellow to come back. There we go. Let me get the dryer out because it's just a little bit more than even I can handle, so I need to you know what I'm wondering? Oh, come on, let go. Let go. Okay. Wondering if I can smear this in here. Get a little bit of that green ink back. There we go. Just hate to have it wasted to that level when the color isn't in there enough to saturate it, so I need to get it back up here. Okay, so now I got to make a decision. Do I want to go back to blue and then keep these two ends purple? I could definitely do that. But let me bring a little bit more of this green right in here. Get rid of this white area. That'll give us a little bit more drastic color tones in there. So that pinata is a very pigmented, deep color. And flip it back over, get the blues back out. Try to keep this ink from completely rolling off the table. And let's get the Baja blue back out and bring it from here over. See what we can do with that. run better into each other. There we go. See that the blending solution would have been better, but sometimes we got to work with what we got, right, ladies? Make it work moments all the time. Get these out of here. These are pretty much ready to let them dry, and whatever we're going to make out of those after a bit. Now I'm going to put a little bit more of this stream here. Oh, that's mermaid. I'm not sure where I put stream. Mermaid pool. Here it is. So I'm just gonna, well, you know what, I shouldn't, because what am I doing with this? I'm going into purple. So what I should do, hi Jody G, let's go ahead and put a purpley blue here. Get that to run down. And we'll put it over here too. And see if we can get it to run down. And then dry those up. Okay, so now we can bring out the purples and see what we want, how we want to blend the purples into this. At first I had kind of imagined it as a rainbow scene, but honestly, it's just so difficult to even blend the colors this way that I just didn't want to stress about it. So now passion purple is very lovely. It is just a, like the Baja blue and the Jacquard, it's just a fabulous color. So let's just go ahead and take this across. And I'm just going to continue with the blue spray because it's going to spray over onto my blue too. So if I go too much, lighten that up a little if I can. Like I said, it's a very dramatic color. Okay, now that'll lighten up as it dries. And I'm wondering what I can do about there. That'll help with that. That was just bugging me having that be quite so white. So now let's take this over here. See what we can do. I'm not going to put as much on because that really taught me just how strong that particular purple is, huh? Not sure how I feel about this little line right here, but I really, because of its fabric, don't know how much I can smear it around. So maybe I can get it a little bit better. Or who knows, if I'm not careful, I might make it worse, huh? Alrighty, so this was my plan, was that I could do that first one and let it dry, then I'd work on this one, then let this one dry, and while I'm doing this, I was thinking about trying to throw together a collage book cover, and then we'll come back to this one because I want to show you what it will look like once the metals get put on there. So I'm going to set this right here and let it dry and see if I can make sure that all this is okay. Good enough. Good enough. Now I can turn this over, and I want to use matte gel. And I have not done this technique before, but you guys know me. Hi, Melissa. I like to do things for the first time on camera so that if it's going to really mess up, I mess up with everybody. We don't just mess up a little bit, you know, like, oh, nobody will know. No, I mess up in front of everybody. But also, it's just the way that I do things because I never can really plan things the way I would like to, you know, if I was that kind of person. So since I'm not that kind of person, I'm not going to try to be, and this is what we got. So this is what we got. I came up with an idea when I was looking for, well, I better not do that yet. I was looking for napkins for something else, and I found these little fall kittens, and they just called me, and they said, oh my gosh, you know, it's almost fall, Melody. Melody. I say my name differently. I hear my name differently, so I don't even know if I know anymore. Unless you hear your mom pronounce it, it's really hard to get it, you know, like, she's the one who really knew. Okay, so what I was planning on was putting these here, like, or putting this here like this. So then I'm going to layer up with these other ones on the top and then come down to the kittens. So, thank you, Melissa. So I was trying to decide if I wanted these fall leaves falling down, but see the color, or not the color, the color's fine, the composition, they're just awfully big leaves to be falling down, and then there's a really drastic line there, so I don't know if I would use that one. I have this one where I could put this one down and then layer up with the kittens on top of it, possibly. Yes, Jody, I threw that on the floor. I will step on it for 3 days before I clean it up. We have a lot of cat ladies in our group. A lot of cat ladies, actually, I think. At least 3 that I know for sure. So I don't even know for sure if this is going to be the one that I choose, but okay, you know what? I don't have the patience to try to make it work with me. So I'm going to tear it. So let's see. If I was to put, I don't know, boy, that's awfully light too, isn't it? The colors look okay. It's just going to leave such a line. So what I'm thinking is that I like this doorway right here, look. But I'm trying to figure out how to not have a upside down cat. Pumpkin won't work. Isn't that just like me to grab everything over there and then get over here and then go, you know what? This might just not work after all. I think I might be able to. If I just put my mind to it, I might be able to come up with a plan. Worst case scenario, if I don't like how it all turns out, I will just paint over the whole thing and continue on with using the book. Now that's just one of the layers. There's still another one, and I'm getting very I know you're thinking, grab a piece of tape, Melody. If I could find tape, I would, but I most likely would spend 10 minutes. Why is that being so... This isn't a very sturdy napkin. I think it's because it's pressed down, maybe. Boy, oh boy. You've seen it here first, ladies. If there's a way to make something difficult, I will find it. Okay, so I kind of like this color scheme. And I think I might be able to layer the cats up on that. We'll see, won't we? One cat? Can I even have a cat out of this whole thing? Has anyone else, have you guys tried decoupaging? But I don't know if you've used the matte gel though. But decoupaged a napkin on a book cover. I've done it with Mod Podge, but that isn't always the best plan. So my napkin's ripped. And everything is dropping. So, everyone want to close their ears while I just scream for a minute? Oh, goodness. Okay, so here is the matte gel, and I'm curious of how this will turn out. So I wanted to try it, and I thought it would be cool to use the fall colors in the little kitten. So I'm just going to put it together, and if I don't like it, then I will paint over it, and I'll use it as a background texture. But here's that. Ooh, that I wouldn't be able to push down on that. That would have torn if I'd have pulled or tugged on that with my fingers. It would have definitely torn it, so I'm glad I stopped. So now that looks nice. That would look good antiqued. Okay, so let's see about getting a little bit of matte gel right here. Yep, it's getting time to scream, ladies. Getting time to scream. Now, where did the rest of this napkin go? Right here. It already has a bunch of torn places. I should be able to patch it up. Not too difficult. Oh, okay. Be very careful. It's very, very delicate. Okay, so where did my little kitten go? Right here. I definitely think that if it's just done just right, it could be okay. There we go. Just a little overlay. And I can always figure out something later. Okay, so now this would have to be patched because my brush grabbed it a little bit rough. So, and I would think the way that decoupaging works is that I could layer up as much of these as I want as long as I have enough matte gel on there, right? And I didn't mess up my composition too much, right? Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do this, and then when we're done with this, I will get over to do these other ones, which will be much more fun. But I am curious about this, and if I don't go ahead and just get it done and try it out, I won't know, and then I could be missing out on some future projects that I might want to accomplish. Let's see, get a little bit more matte gel on there. That area seems to be more delicate for the napkin than some of the, sorry guys, I'm macking you. Okay, there we go. So now I could always come over with some lace, some fabric, something to cover up that line. I do see the line, but it's not, the game's not over until everything is layered up. Okay, so time to get some more matte gel on here. Let's see. Now what I got to figure out though is where am I going to get the rest of my napkin? I don't even know if I have another one of these if I needed it. Okay, so I do have, I think, enough to make it work. With patch jobs even. So that's good to know. One napkin. One 6x4 napkin, I think that was. Could do a cover. Average size cover. Ooh, Nelly. Now see, that looked like it was bubbled up. Oh, it was, that's what it is, you guys. I was putting the gel on too thick. Okay, now I get it. See, this is how I'm learning, and I'll know what to do better next time. It has to go on thin because as soon as there's a puddle of it, that's why the napkin got that way. I'll make this a patchwork quilt. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, so that is covered. It's not perfect, but it definitely gave me the information I needed. And I think if I was to layer up from here with something complementary, you know, some fabrics or some ribbons, or not ribbon, laces, I think I could make it not be a complete waste of time. That's usually what I shoot for. Okay, so there's that. And I'll put it over here. And I will put this into the water along with the other one. Put the lid on this. Now, let's bring out, if it's dry, let's hope, this one. Has some pretty thick areas, but I think it's dry. Yeah. So now I have, this one is the old silver. I don't want copper, I know that. This one is Nouveau. This is graphite, this is champagne, old silver, and old gold. So there's 4. And then I also grabbed this apricot, which I won't be using tonight. Okay, so what my plan was is to get some metals on here and hopefully use the lightest metal to bring up the letters so that we could read them better. So I don't think I'm going to use the black. And I don't think I'm going to use the old gold. I think that I am going to try the champagne and the old silver. Let's see. Isn't that just like butter? Isn't that beautiful? Just love that. I know how the old silver looks because I've been using it on a few things. Because that's the things, you guys, you think you know what it looks like. It doesn't necessarily look like that once it's on there or once it's dried. It just, everything kind of changes. So what I've been doing is taking it and putting on top of these sponges, and then trying to see, it's already gonna do it to me. It's just not wanting to grab it the way I want it. Let me get this down here so that I can show you. And the really bad part is that it dries and just stays where it's going to go very quickly. So there's no getting it back up. No buffing it out, no nothing, because that's exactly what it does, is buff, you know. So, but it's important to try to get it to where it doesn't get behind there as much as it stays on top. Because I want it to make the letters stand out so that we can read them. But I don't know if this, if you've seen the old silver, you would be more inclined to think that the old silver might be what we're looking for. This one I've been using quite a bit, and oh my goodness, I just love it. It's supposed to be old silver, but to me it's more like a lighter, brighter champagne. The champagne is a lot yellower than what I had wanted, but I'll be able to use it on things that have the gold behind it. That makes sense? Or not gold behind it, browns and bronzes and things, neutral tone, or I don't know, you'll know what I mean, beigey things, because that here, it just looks so yellow, so this old silver going to be the one that's going to get it to where we can read these letters the best. And then I can always come in with a smaller brush and just highlight those areas that I was really wanting to have hit, but it didn't get them as light as I was wanting them. I don't know, I just had it all envisioned in my mind that there would be the I don't know, tie-dye type look in the background, and then the letters would stand out with this. Just, I can, but they're so bumpy that or I don't know if you're supposed to. Honestly, I didn't read it to see if you should get on your fingers, but I've been getting it on my fingers. So, but they're so raised because my modeling paste, it was old, and so it was really pasty, and it was so hard to get it to work with the stencils I was using. So just did the best I could with what was going on. Let me tell you, this was last night, I think, because today I did the gesso over the top of the stenciling because I wanted it to dry overnight. Okay. So anyways, anywho. So there's the letters stood up at least a bit more than they were. It's not probably done perfectly in how it would be best to make those letters stand out, but I think that we definitely got a better image of what we have there than before before we did that. So now let me take some of this and brush around the edges just to take the metals out a bit. And what I'll do is figure out something that will overlay right here, because I can see the cloth binding on the back line, the line pretty severe. I don't know if I like that. This old silver, I have to say, and I'm not a silver person at all, but I have to say, for accents on anything but vintagey, it's been the best color for what I'm doing. I have definitely liked it the best. Alrighty, so I'll go over this a tad and over this a tad. And there we go. So there's a mixed media cover where you took a gutted book, you gessoed it, you put the stenciling you wanted on there, and then you gessoed it again, and then you went over it with the alcohol inks and let them run down. I used a spray, alcohol ink spray, to thin it out, when in reality you would definitely want to use blender, but I had ran out without even, I think the bottle was upside down and it just ran out or something, because there was no reason for it to be, for no bottles to be in there. I would have made sure and gone over to the store and got some, not just waited for it in the mail if I was completely out. So, but it probably just evaporated out. But so there's that, and I think it's pretty fun. I just gotta maybe work with it a little bit more. Maybe I'll layer up even more on top of that and put something on it so that that's the background. But that's one. And then if we go back to this one, I definitely want to, where's my front? If I want to stick with the front being the front, this is the way it would be. And I wanted to use the silver on here, and I was going to layer up with some images on top of here. And this particular book was going to go with the Atelier, which is a sewing kit, a sewing paper pack kit from Stamperia, this one. And it has blues and browns and just a nice combination. There's a little bit of grays in there too, so it would look It would look good with golds, but I think it'll look good with silver too. So that's why I wanted to use the silver to highlight these letters or numbers. So, and the cool thing about the old silver, it's not platinum. It's not real shiny. It's just a really, I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Yes, ma'am. These are the new stencils. And I was going to offer these tonight for $7.50 a piece, and that includes shipping. I have them numbered. Number 1 is the Atelier, which is, matches with the Atelier, which is a sewing, has the sewing instruments on there. Number 2 is the art one, which is what we just worked on here. I only used the top portion of it, the artist area. And so that's what that one does, that one. And then number 3 is the one that I got to go with the old lace kit. And so, and like I said, $7.50. I only have 2 of each, and $7.50, and that includes shipping. Thank you, Lisa. So if you guys want it, PM me, and we'll get you either paid through private messenger, or we'll do PayPal, and then I will mail them off. Let's see. No, I just did this because I was wanting to get to the back. But yeah, I went ahead, and when I did my wholesale order from Stamperia, I grabbed quite a few of the stencils, I thought, but I hadn't exactly decided what I was going to do. Originally, I was going to put them in the Fancy Flows, but the price of the Fancy Flows was going so high as it was that I really couldn't justify incorporating anything more to make it even a higher price. So I also have a nice assortment of stamps too that I'll do the similar situation with at some point. I just haven't got to that point yet to inventory exactly what I want and what I don't want. So now, Linda Hale, oh my goodness, I have the Old England, and it is fantastic. It is stunning. I really love it. I love all the paper packs I've gotten from them, though. There hasn't been anything that I thought, you know what, I don't think I would do that again. But you know, it's a really, really good company that's really putting a lot of work into their designers. Okay, so there's the silver with the blues, with a little bit of green in the background, tealy green in the background. Now let me show you real quick what I was planning on doing. Was, I'll show you this while we're doing this. I'll go ahead and flip through this. This will become a starter kit, is what this will all become. Paper pack with the cover, and somewhere in here, right, looks like right here, there we go. So what I had planned on doing is I had gotten this ready, and my friend Jody had gifted me some die cuts, and I layered 4 of them up so that it would make it more substantial, right? So this is 4 of them layered up of just cardstock, and then I distressed the edges. And what I want to do is decorate a pair of wings, and I haven't decided how yet. But so I will take the wings and the dress form and create a cover. And I haven't figured out exactly how and what all I'll put on there. But that is what I'm going to do. And then I will put the corresponding paper on the inside and create the cover and put it in there as a starter kit. So you guys, we did this mixed media cover, the basics of it, we did this mixed media cover, the basics of it. I think I'll probably still work on this a little bit. It might be just the base of it, and then I'll go from there. Then we have the one that's decoupaged behind me. It's not going to be dry by any means, but I'm going to be able to figure out exactly what this will take to do it the way that I need it to be done to be able to make a proper hardcover. And if it doesn't end up making a good hardcover, you know, durable, if it's too delicate or something, then I just won't go forward with it. But I was just curious. So there's that. And on top of all of that, I thought maybe I would do a very short peek at something that's going to be going up next week. Oh, I'm pretty proud of. I've been working on my own on my own time, which I don't do a lot. So this is the Gothic Halloween journal that I've been working on. I used the one that I just showed you, that I was selling 2 of these today. I'm calling it the Old Lace because that's what I bought it to go with, but they don't have names like that. They have numbers. But the number 3 stencil from Stamperia, I put this down on this book and I used modeling paste and I created this mixed media cover. I painted it with purple and I distressed it up with metals. I have bronze and copper and old silver in here, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So what I wanted to show you really quick is just a quick flip through of my tassel here, and it's being held on by a ring holder on the back, and then this is the spine, and it has a snap closure. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. This is a piece of leather, piece of suede, and then I have I used to make coats, and so I have all these snaps and the different metals. And then this one back here is being held with a very sturdy eyelet, gone all the way through the book. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. This, and then the snap part is right here in the book, and it's really sturdy. Again, it's, you know, made for clothing, and so it's meant to be taken on and off, taken on and off. So it's not decorative. It's definitely the ones that you would make. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm so happy that you think so. I worked really hard on this, and like I said, I did it in my own time, you know, like when I would be visiting with my friends or when I was just down here by myself. But I worked and worked and worked, and I have a couple exciting things to show you. One is that I have found this in my stash. I found this velvet paper. So the black parts on here have a raised velvet area. And so for me, Gothic meant black and dark purple ornate cathedrals and things like that. So it wasn't as dark. It isn't as dark as some people's visions of Gothic. So, but I distressed all of the paper. This particular pink paper here, Pinky Burgundy, is made by Lisa, and she also made another one that's in here, and I'll show you in a minute. And she's going to be having that in her store, and her store is Body, Mind, and Soul over at my vendor store. So this is a altered paper clip here. This is a tuck spot with this little house, and then I made these journaling cards with the extras of that velvet paper, and then this I took and cut him out and then put a very, very old, I think it's 1947, just kind of almost like a vellum receipt. It's this was gifted to me by Melissa Franks. And yet, 1934. And so I used them. She gifted them to me. I used them on the back of these, and they just were fabulous. It was just the most beautiful layering effect. I just loved it. So there's that page. And then over here is just holding another tag. I made the tags very large. This is a tuck spot belly band, and it has this shirting material that has a pinky purple on one side and then a plum purple on the other. I created this digital effect right here where I took the outline of a house and put the the skull transparently behind it so that it would just be like, ghostly. I stamped and distressed every page just about. Again, just more of those tabs, fabric tabs sewn onto the edges. This is bling that I had found at a garage sale that I was so excited about. I shared with you guys before that I had found that bracelet and took it apart and put it in here. This is a wool coat that I used the pocket. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not the pocket. That's the inside fold, and it still has some of the lining on there. And those are journaling cards. Definitely room for journaling in here. This is the paper that Lisa makes also out of wax paper. She had sent it to me, and I put some of this in here plus the other one, and I was so excited because that's the color I needed to make it pop. And then here I have a folded in half tag that's behind the crow, which is hiding my stitching from the other side. And then this is my very dingy coffee dyed paper that I have a pan that the coating is off of it, so you get the iron and metal out of it. And then I have exhale and ornate stamping here. This is all either sprayed and or stenciled and or stamped. This is a cathedral type buildings in the background here from a vintage book. More fabric. These are just some tags that I haven't put in a spot yet, but in the center what I did was I took the cording tails and I glued them between two pieces of decorative paper so that it would have a journaling spot and then an image, and then more tags. All the tabs here, have enough to flow out over the side. My extra journaling cards, I layered that receipt up on 1934. This is a tag made with that image. And so there's lots and lots of ephemera in here to work with as far as tucking in and all that. More fabrics here. Very dingy, very, I don't want to say dark, just enough dark, I guess. Medium dark, I don't know. There's definitely plenty still of growing area in this. And then this is an altered paper clip where I took a crow and I took and glittered him and then put this really odd thing on there to look like an eye. And then I have these fibers coming up to almost look like hair or some sort of headdress. And then it has, again, the beads and so that's just an altered paper clip. And then on the back, it's holding this tag right here, which has more of that crushed velvet or velvet raised. I'm not sure. This is a cute little, I don't know if it's cute. Anyways, I made a little journal thing, and I just worked on every page and used the metals and tried to give it some character. And let's see, lots and lots of the work on the papers I really did. And this is a photo printout. I printed a photo out. It was free to the public, but it was a cathedral ceiling, glass ceiling. And so I thought I would rough it up and make it not look so brand new and shiny. And then, of course, I had to put glitter on it, though. And then the back I distressed in an interesting way. And there's more fibers, and there's threads everywhere. So there's lots of the threads. And this is the same thing as the other center, where I took two pieces of paper and glued the tails between them. And then, but this one I made a little pocket in with the crow for this very pretty velvet paper. And we're getting to the end. This is the other side of that picture right here. There is stitching, a lot of sewing, stenciling, stamping. This is Italy in all her glory, and the cathedral was there. I just thought that to me is Gothic. I don't know why. Everyone has a vision of everything differently than other people. And this has some texture here with the pearlized Inca gold and More of Lisa's paper. This says the cycle of life and death in the forest, which again just kind of gave me that feel. And then this is the end. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me tonight for mixed media covers, or mixed media with Melodi. We usually do covers or jelly printing because that's the two things that I never find time during the week to do. There's just, between getting everything out and then cleaning up the mess, it's just always quite the ordeal. But so I save it for Saturday nights. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to hang out, watch me, listen to me, watch me struggle with things or succeed in things, whichever way it happens to be that night. And I just always enjoyed this time with you guys. Thank you so much. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.